All right, Nick. Lead-off walk to begin Connor Phillips' debut for what could be his first career save. I'd like to say that it could have started better. It should have started better. But maybe we'll get a ground ball double play.
The baseball gods, man, they're beautiful.
Too soon? Too fast of a game for you, Nick?
For a 6:40 start, you know what? Let's really push it. Let's get to the ninth inning in like
Nick,
an hour and 5 minutes.
This is what Rob Manfred wanted.
Yeah.
Also, this will be the last night, hopefully, of all these issues. I thought I might have had it fixed before we started, and sure enough, no. But I have a suspicion.
You do.
I have a suspicion.
All right, let's at least get a little scoreboard here on the bottom.
Settle in, throw a strike. Good play by the ball boy down the right field line. Shout out to him. It's almost like it's just really weird. That's all. Really, really weird.
All right, we got something on the bottom. We're rolling.
Yeah, might just start randomly like.
It was a nice at bat from O'Hearn. You got to give him some credit.
All right. Wish I had an answer here, but I don't have an answer. Other than he's just gonna have.
I need to
bear down.
Yeah, where are we at in the lineup? Do we have any lefties coming up that we can at least bring Mole in? Because like, there's just, I mean, like, there's not a whole lot of guys. Mole's got to be warming, right? Because the next batter is a lefty in Horwitz.
Yeah.
Although after that, you have right, left, left. If you get to that part, you're kind of. Who the Buccos got on their bench? Joey Bart, some guy named Cook, Magnum, and York. Yeah, there he is.
We'll take it. The thing that I love the most right there is my man has walked 2 hitters in the inning, and the very first pitch he decides to swing at a slider that's like 2 feet outside. So we're off to a good start.
Oh, you're way ahead of me. Let me.
That's okay. I can pause. Pause.
No. I keep getting behind. I don't know what it is. I'm at the drone now. The pitch.
Yep.
Swing and a miss.
All right. Cool. I'm gonna get the pitch clock. Hold on. 0-2 pitch clock. Give it to me. 0-2 pitch clock. All right, I'm on 9. It's pretty quick. It's like 10, 9.
10, 9.
Okay, here we go. Pitch.
Strike 3.
All right, we're there.
I'm not sure I went all the way forward. There's not a live button on the Roku. Like, you have to fast forward it.
Right, until it starts to spin.
Yeah.
We'll take it. 1 out, folks. Now we're just a ground ball away. And everybody in Pittsburgh saying they're a swing away. So, that's the beauty of baseball, isn't it? All right. Nick, what do you think about that? I mean, I understand the concept that you want it to be pretty instantaneous in regards to how quickly you can challenge something, but it almost feels like there should be like 5 seconds, maybe. Like, I think that's real. That's fair.
I think they just don't want people looking at monitors, and
that's very true, and I understand that. The only thing is the other day, they decided it wasn't immediate, and it's like it looked like it was pretty immediate by my standards from the hitter's perspective. But you're right. I mean, they're gonna try to eliminate anybody from being able to cheat.
Yeah. Okay, Sadak, let's stop pushing you, brother.
Come on, now.
Was that necessary?
No.
Come on, man.
That reminds me of a previous regime's types of tactic. That'll be a single by Hayes, and the tying run just picked up his helmet in the batting circle. All right, come on. I put the chat away, by the way. I'd be talking to you a lot more, chat, but I put you away because you guys were ahead of me. We can never get ahead of the chat. Oh no. Are we okay? Everybody okay? High five. High five. All right. Hey, no injuries. Everybody's okay. We caught the baseball. Reds win again. That's 3 in a row, Nick. That's 3 in a row, my friend. I mean, hey, listen, it doesn't matter how pretty it is. All it matters is if you win or you lose. Not the prettiest baseball game I've ever watched. Not the most entertaining baseball game I've ever watched. But you know what? Does it really matter? No. A win is a win is a win. Folks, we got another winning edition of Chatterbox Reds. I don't know what else to say other than that. We'll be back in just a second.
He scored! Oh my God! Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant.
Hawkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded. The outfield deep and around toward right. And the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on. Long drive. Right field. And this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the wall, Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Win! Line to the right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed the no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Nick. A winning edition of Chatterbox Reds yet again. They take the series opener against the Pittsburgh Pirates 2-0. First win for Chase Burns. Hopefully it is one of many to come. And I could be wrong. I think I had said this in the pregame, or I should say the 9th inning. Connor Phillips' first legitimate save, or am I wrong on that?
I believe so. I think they said that on the broadcast. I haven't fact checked it, but I think that's correct.
Well, whether it is or it isn't, well, by the end of the show, I'm sure we'll figure out. Regardless, another masterful pitching performance. Really, there's this weird feeling that I have that I kept saying, like, it just doesn't seem like it's replicatable, if that's a word, that they were capable last year of throwing the ball so well, not only from the starting pitching, but obviously the bullpen as well. You kind of think that those two have to go somewhat hand in hand, because if one was severely lacking, it would kind of wash out what the other one's doing. And yet again, the Reds offensively kind of a little lackluster, but doesn't really matter when you obviously blank the opposing team. And maybe the most beautiful thing that has happened so far early in this year is that they have won close games. They have won close games. 2-0, couple one-run victories, and ultimately, like, the margins for this team, as we've said before, are probably going to be small. I don't expect them to run away with anything, even if it's going to be a wild card berth. I don't think they're going to run away with that. They certainly probably aren't going to run away with the NL Central. So every time you have an opportunity, Nick, to win what we call these games that I think could go either way, don't know how much you buy into the cliche of, you know, the 60, 60, and 60 rule, or whatever, you know, whatever you'd like to come up with in regards to how many games are won, how many games are lost, and how many games you actually had a chance to do one or the other. Feels like the last few days they've had a chance to do one or the other, and they've come up victorious in every single one of them.
Yeah, also have yet to commit an error so far in 2026, so playing some good defense to complement the good pitching. Yeah, this is the recipe for the Reds to be successful this year. And yeah, it is nice to just get a bunch of these close wins, you know, right off the rip. So, and the Pirates are 1-3, so that's good as well.
It's all good, and obviously I wasn't naive to see what the Brewers did as well, which is a little concerning. But you know what? We'll worry about the Brewers at a later date. Right now, we only need to focus on what the Reds are doing and obviously what the Pirates are doing, because they're facing the Reds. So we do have a couple super chats. I'm going to get to those right before we get to the Bosco recap, Nick. I know that before the game ended there, you were kind of not too pleased with Rob Manfred, with this, not only with the fact that the games are going too fast, but they also added in the 6:40 start time, which I know you love. And all left fielders that have ever played for the Reds also admit they do love that time frame as well. RD, with a bunch of random letters, says, let's go, with about 9 O's, 3 and 1. Fired back up with another super chat. He says, fireball, fireball, fireball. We went over this yesterday. We're only doing that for sweeps. I helped you out. I don't want to say helped you out because who's it helping out, really? I did do it yesterday just because I felt like, I'm a man of the people. I try to deliver when asked. But fireball will come during sweeps. RD, then again, for the third straight super chat in a row, says pitching wins championships. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. It helps win championships, but I'd like to think that an offensive firepower team could win one as well. Rolf coming in with a super chat says, ATOBTTR, heading to a big box hardware store, no free ads. I love that, Rolf. You know where we're going here. To get some Carpenter bee spray. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Maybe I'm an idiot. He said, I accept this task dutifully. You can't be putting big words like that in these super chats. I'm going to butcher them and look like an idiot. Because the Reds won. I love this show. You guys are the best, Strace. New computer. Listen, tomorrow I feel very confident. That things will be getting straightened out. Sometimes it's kind of like at the trade deadline where you're looking around and you made a trade. You might have made a trade, but you got to let them pack their bags and they got to get in town and they got to get their stuff ready. So, I'm waiting for the cavalry to come, and I have a strong suspicion this will be squared away. Hopefully tomorrow. That's my hope. I'm not going to jinx it. Let's see here. I cannot stand the fact that it doesn't show me the full name. Can I fix that? Is there a way for me to fix that on here? I'm serious, Nick. Like, it's ridiculous that I can't see my man's full name. And I know it's the real... I should know this. I
see the full names. You need to
the real
open
Big
the
Z.
YouTube.
The real
you
Big
open
Z.
the actual stream.
That's fair. All right, Nick. I'll do it. The real Big Z says he feels so good to be back. Reds. Ned Flanders says Benson gets the yellow card for the late challenge on McLean. Fair enough. Yeah. And you know what? The FC guys were on right before this. Shout out to them. Flat Rock said free pizza. Yeah. That's the one thing at Great American Ballpark that does crack me up, boy. It gets louder for anything that happens in the entire game than when there's a chance with 2 strikes for the pizza to get delivered. And also, it's just like a free small personal pizza that you get with the purchase of another pizza. It's not like, no offense, but I don't think it's like the world's greatest deal. But hey, free pizza's free pizza. Dunny 177 says, I prefer Ashcraft and Phillips over Santillan and Pagan right now. We'll see. I mean, it's easier to say right now after hindsight, Dunny, but I know right now if Phillips would have walked another guy and gave up a big blast, we would have been having a completely different story. But you know what? That's how it goes. It doesn't matter what happened or what could have happened. All that matters is what happened. So, box score recap, Nick, presented by Sharefax. You can take it away whenever you're ready, my friend.
All right, Chatterbox Reds is brought to you by Sharefax Credit Union. Sharefax is rooted right here in Cincinnati with 9 branches across the city. They're a not-for-profit financial institution, which means they're owned by their members. So instead of profits going to shareholders, they're returned to you through lower rates, better rates, and all the traditional banking options you'd expect. And right now, Sharefax has a great auto loan promotion. You can get 1.5% off your qualified rate when you refinance your vehicle, and your first payment isn't due for 90 days. Loans are subject to membership and credit approval, and restrictions may apply. For full terms and conditions, visit sharefax.org to apply online or give them a call at 513-753-2240. All right, Reds taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates, the first game of a 3-game series at Great America Ballpark. Chase Burns on the mound for the Reds against Braxton Ashcraft of the Pirates. Chase Burns took a no-hitter into the 5th inning, and he gave the Reds 5 dominant innings in his season debut. 5 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Burns threw 78 pitches. Pirates starting pitcher Braxton Ashcraft was rolling going into the 4th inning. He had retired 7 straight batters, but in the bottom of the 4th, after Elly De La Cruz singled and then was thrown out stealing, Sal Stewart walked, Eugenio Suarez singled, putting runners on the corners, and then Spencer Steer hit a sac fly to put the Reds up 1-0. Then Will Benson smoked a triple down the right field line that put the Reds up 2-0. Jose Franco, with a depleted bullpen, made his big league debut, did a nice job, got 5 outs, and then Graham Ashcraft looked the best we've seen in a long time. Ashcraft retired all 4 batters that he faced, striking out 3. Reds offense, well, they didn't get a hit after the 4th inning, but the Reds took a 2-0 lead into the 9th. Connor Phillips came in for his first career save opportunity. He walked 2 batters, but he was able to get the job done. Reds win 2-0. Reds have won 3 straight games to improve to 3-1 on the young season.
All right, we got a deep drive of the day, and of course, it's not a home run, but it is the big. I don't think they gave him a triple, to be fair, though, but we can give him a triple. I know Nick's a big Will Benson kind of guy, but I just want to say I might be a double, but you know what? I'm going to read it like I don't know any better. Will Benson, RBI triple down the right field line, 102 off the bat, 247 feet. That'd be out of your local Little League field, I'm pretty sure of it. 16 degrees off the bat. That would give the Reds a 2-0 lead, and as we all know, they'd wind up winning 2-0. And the win probability would ultimately be relatively useless. What's not useless? Well, if you got knee pain or shoulder pain and it's slowing you down, whether it's on the golf course, the pickleball court, or even the gym, it might be time to talk to the care team at QC Kinetics Cincinnati about regenerative medicine options. QC Kinetics takes a different approach, focusing on treatments designed to help your body heal and recover. They're conveniently located in Liberty Township, right across from Lakota East High School. That would be the Thunder Hawks. Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds, Thunderhawks. I'm not totally sure. I'm sure the chat will let me know. But that's right across from Lakota East High School. See what the team at QC Kinetics is all about. Visit qckinetics.com or call 513-655-3356. Lakota East.
Was a triple. That's copied and pasted directly from game day.
Thunderhawks. Thunderbirds. Thunderhawks. Chat, you're going to have to let me know. That is really, I don't know how in the world I don't know that. Thunderhawks. Thank you. I mean, that's crazy that I couldn't think of that. I'm starting to worry about my brain. I mean, I've always been a little concerned about my brain just because of, some of the math tests that I used to fail probably when I was in 3rd grade. I couldn't get my multiplication tables done fast enough to be able to go to recess, and I missed recess like 2 straight days in 3rd grade, if I remember right. That was a core memory of mine, if you couldn't tell. But nonetheless, Chase Burns, story of the game, similar to, I guess, the previous game with Rhett Lauder. Just this is why, Nick, you take starting pitching towards the top end of the draft if you feel very confident that they're going to be very, very, very impact guys relatively soon, because it's really hard to go out in the open market and find, affordable, good starting pitching. And heaven forbid, elite level starting pitching. If you get elite level starting pitching, the Reds are never going to be able to go out and buy that unless, maybe we'll see what happens with the next CBA. But you get my point. Right now, you can just kiss that goodbye. So nice to see Burns also kind of got himself just far enough into the game. I felt like that he gave the bullpen a fair chance to try to close it out. But one thing that I think Barry said that I don't know if I totally agree with, but I'll get on board slightly, is that I don't know if he locates it as well as theoretically I think Barry was leading on. But the one thing that he does have is just movement, and his velocity in and of itself, coupled with the movement on his secondary pitches, makes him really, really difficult to hit, even if he throws strikes, period, no matter where they are. If you can go back and look in this game, he got multiple big outs by just throwing fastballs right past guys, and they weren't theoretically even on the corners, Nick. So that, to me, is very encouraging, because if I think this day and age, if you're always relying on kind of what I would call Greg Maddoxing, pitching, where you're trying to nibble the zone here and there, especially with ABS now, you're not going to be able to kind of, how many times did we hear it in years past, Nick, where you're like, you know what, you throw it there 2 or 3 times, eventually you're going to establish the zone to be there and you're going to get that call next time. Well, not really anymore. That's long gone. So I like guys like, that have the ability just to overpower you, and that's what Chase Burns is, in the way I view him, at least.
Yeah, that was a good point. I think like probably 80 pitches was about his cutoff. So, I mean, it very easily for a guy like Chase Burns that throws as hard as he did, if he got into a lot of deep counts, to struggle to get through 4 innings with 78 pitches. And we've seen him at times, with that. But it felt like he just cruised through the 5 innings. Feel like he didn't even really break a sweat. I mean, it didn't even feel like this was even close to like the peak Chase Burns that we might see at some point this season. But yeah, I mean, he just continues to carry the ball. I mean, every starter's been good except for Brady Singer, and Brady Singer has been dealing with blisters, and they said something about how they were like sawing off the top of his finger or something. So like he's the only one that struggled, and he wasn't even that bad. So yeah, I'm excited to see Brandon Williams to take the ball tomorrow and just continue this pitching staff. That you'll lose Hunter Green, and so far you haven't missed a step.
So far. It'll be interesting to see what happens if they all throw the ball really, really well. I mean, I know obviously with Lodolo, I don't want to ruin too much on the back half if you have it, but I mean, it's a good problem to have. I'm not going to sit here and suggest that Nick Lodolo is not going to have a spot in the rotation. That would be blasphemy, and we all know that's absurd. But I do think with the just the nuances of starting pitching and how very unlikely it's going to be for you to be able to maintain a starting rotation of 5 or 6 guys, and they're all going to be healthy for the entirety of the season. We've already seen that's kind of already got some cracks in it on our staff this year. I think it's a nice, at least right now, it's a nice feeling to have when you lay your head down on the pillow that you think you have, 7 guys that you can trust to go out there and let your team compete and have a chance to win. There for a minute, it wasn't that long ago where we were running out, the Kennedys of the world, and we had Weaver starting because we had no other options at some point. And now we legitimately have, I think, on the back end of everything, like I think Brandon Williamson is what's funny is like he might be just as good as the last 2 starters right now, to be clear. And again, I'm just predicating this off the fact of how he looked the last time he was actually on the mound pitching. And the same goes with Rhett Lauder. Like, these guys looked the part the last time they were officially out there. And yes, injuries happen. They've been away for a long time. Things can change. But just to finish up on the starting pitching as a whole, I could not be more pleasantly surprised with what we've gotten so far. And maybe Williamson will make me eat my words tomorrow, but I hope not, and we can kind of keep this train rolling. Moving forward into the offense, I felt like there was a little, again, people are going to think maybe I'm being a little too nice. I think that there was a little more encouragement than just the 2 runs that they scored. I thought there was a couple balls that were hit pretty hard. Steer hit a ball at the middle really, really hard. Unfortunately, they were playing him right there. It'll be interesting to see as we move forward if Steer, not that I think he's been figured out by the league in regards of a defensive positioning standpoint, but, ultimately he kind of wasn't rewarded for what I would consider, back in the day would have been an easy base hit. Tyler Stevenson, I thought, hit the ball really, really hard. Hayes hit the ball hard one time. And again, you don't always get rewarded for this, and I understand that it's really the nuts and bolts all come down to whether or not you get the hit or you don't. But I really think it was a little misleading to say that the offense didn't step up at all. No big flies, no home runs, and they found a way to win. And I think that they're probably not going to be able to say that a whole hell of a lot this year. So the fact that they're capable of doing it tonight was a nice thing to see, and good for Benson to get a big hit, because that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I mean, the Pirates could really pitch. I mean, this is how you have to beat the Pirates. It's kind of these sort of ugly, 2-0, 2-1 wins. Like, you're not going to win a whole lot of games against the Pirates 7-6. I mean, it's just not the way that they're built. They're built even more on pitching, in my opinion, than the Reds are. Big a lot of people forget the Pirates were like significantly worse offensively than the Reds, and I know they added a lot of players. Think they are going to learn the hard way that just deciding to say the hell with defense is a mistake, as it might have cost them a run tonight with Lau playing second base, a guy who's really a first baseman, but they're trying just to get all the offense they can into their lineup. Sal Stewart, I mean, it's just on base 3 more times tonight. I mean, like, just the fact that he's as good of a hitter as he is, and he just consistently can take walks. I mean, he's a 765 on base percentage right now.
Right. No, I mean, he's seeing the ball incredibly well, and the part that's really difficult to figure out, and obviously he's not going to be this absurdly good for God's sakes, because that would defy the history of the game and ever since it was invented. But it's kind of hard to figure out what the floor is with him. I certainly, and I know that Terry kind of made the point of saying, let's not induct him yet, and I don't want to go too over the rails on that, but I didn't love that kind of last little line that he said with that, because it's like, why set limits, Like, what's the point of setting a limit? Why tell the kid, if that kid wants to think that he's supposed to hit 500 in the big leagues, then let him. Like, who cares? Let him think that until it hurts the team, until it hurts him. I want that kid to think he can hit 750 if he wants to. Now, obviously, I don't think he's that naive, but I got to be honest. I think he's a little naive. I do. And you know what's great about that is sometimes the only thing to do great things, the only way to do impossible things, as they say, the only way to be an innovator or do something that nobody's ever seen done before is to be naive. You have to be. Quite literally the definition of it. Until you prove everyone else wrong. And at this point, I'm here for the ride, baby. Sal Stewart can take me on the ride that I've never seen before from a hitter this young look the part. Not just, by the way, this isn't like Aristides Aquino or Rhys Hines when they first came up and they were just blasting home run after home run. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what you mentioned. His ability to lay off pitches, to see the ball for what it is at times, and take his walk. Doesn't feel like he's trying to force anything. 2-strike approach sometimes, and I get maybe people don't believe in the 2-strike approach anymore, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. But 2 strikes, he always seems to find a way to be able to put the barrel on the ball. And yes, it might not get hit as hard as he possibly that he can hit it, but he at least gives it a chance. And he has these quote unquote seeing eye singles at times. It's like, well, that's a skill set, and it seems to be that he has it. I'm just hopeful that he can stay hot long enough for these other guys to catch up, whether that be G.J. Friedel, whether that be Spencer Steer, whether it be whoever we decide to kind of maybe keep at third base at times. I still believe at some point Brian Hayes will get some big hits when we need him to get some big hits. And Tyler Stevenson. And like I said, Tyler Stevenson hit a ball really, really hard tonight. Did not get rewarded for it. But, ultimately at the end of the day, Nick, he's the reason that we're not going and pulling our hair out with this offense right now, for being honest.
I think the not induct him yet comments would have been completely fine if I didn't watch Sal sit on the bench 7 of the final 9 games last season. I feel like I would have been like, hey, you know what, I'm completely on board with that. But yeah, with the two together, I didn't love that.
Right. No, I mean, I think that there is something to be said about earning your stripes, about, getting the respect, like people that have been there long enough. But, not to go off the rails, I don't feel like we should do this on this show, but I always go back to I think when Jazz Chisholm was talking about how there was some young rookies that came up for the Marlins, and he was talking about, we had some guy, I'm paraphrasing for Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm was like, this guy comes up, he's supposed to be the next guy, and his first at bat he hits an absolute bomb. And it's like, yeah, he does some things that maybe are a little unorthodox, might toss his bat a little bit, might jog around the bases a little too long. But he gets in the dugout, and Jazz is talking about how all the older guys are just ripping his head off, like he just basically killed a family member. And it's like Jazz is like, wait a minute, we suck. All of you guys aren't even that great. Like, it's not like you've been an unbelievable player your whole life. Why are you getting on this kid that just came in here that's helping us win? And it's the first. I'm kind of to the point where I'm like, that's how I feel a little bit about all of these young guys. Like, yeah, do I love the idea of Noelvi wearing yellow? No, I don't. Do I feel like I'm the old man yelling at cloud when I see that? Yeah, I do. Do I love, looking like Elly having, 5,000 armbands and his sliding mitt in his back pocket when he makes an error? No, I kind of think it's goofy that he has the sliding mitt in his back pocket when he's not going to slide anywhere. He could probably just keep it in the dugout. But ultimately, you know what? I'm not going to be that guy. So I'm going to just sit back, relax, let the young kids play, do what they wish. And Sal Stewart, by the way, if he keeps hitting like this, he can do whatever the hell he wants to do. I don't care. I really don't. So we'll see moving forward. I guess really quickly, I don't know if you have it on the back end. Marte not starting against a right-handed pitcher indicates to me one of two things. Tito, either he has to comprehend that he has to be fair, but he either doesn't fully comprehend that that's probably when Noelvi should start. And then secondarily, he's kind of out on Noelvi because he thinks there's better options.
He mentioned the reverse splits like 5 times in spring training. So like, I don't think, I'm pretty sure he understands like that's a thing. Maybe he doesn't buy them. That's a whole different conversation. But he definitely is aware. Like he didn't just throw that piece of paper away. He does know that because he did actually mention it. The Marte situation is just it's puzzling. It really is. Just Dane Meyer is sitting on the bench on opening day in a matchup that he was 2 for 5 against Crochet. It's lefty significantly better. And then now you're sitting Marte. I don't know, maybe, and as I've said many times before, there is more to just the right-left splits. Maybe there was something with Braxton Ashcraft's pitch mix that they thought would have really given Noelvi fits, and they felt like, hey, maybe he has a better chance against Bubba Chandler tomorrow. But it's just weird to be playing him like 50%, which is like what it feels like it's trending towards right now. Just being as young as he is, being as high of a prospect as he is, I'm kind of surprised the Reds are just okay with that with him and not wanting him to get everyday at bats.
Yeah, I think it's too early to know if he's not going to get every day at bats, but the same language that they gave for J.J. Bleday and Rhys Hines, you would like to think would also exist for Noelvi Marte. And I think it would be kind of crazy to give up on Marte this soon, but at the same time, as I've said before, and I do believe this, so I have to stand behind it, this is the big leagues. And the job of the big league manager and the job of the big league general manager and the club as a whole is to win. That's it. It's not to babysit. It's not to try to be some psychological coach or anything like that. The players are the players, and their job is to do just that. And at times, yes, you'd like them to make sure that you put some of the younger players in the best position that they can to succeed. But the truth is that if you can't find a way to be, clearly better than the next person, and that next person so happens to be playing well and they contribute a little bit, I could easily make a case and scenario as to why Marte really doesn't deserve to get too many more reps, even though we're only in game 4 of the season. This goes back to just how many more options that there are. And Benson, having a triple today that helps the team win doesn't help Marte's case. And Marte doesn't really have a whole lot. He doesn't really have a whole lot of things that for a fact he's better at than the next person. That's kind of the issue I have, right? It's like defensively, he's not going to be that much better than anybody that they have as an option. And offensively, if he doesn't succeed relatively quickly, there's other guys that have that have just the same capabilities as him, if not better, to help the team win. So it is what it is for Marte. It's kind of weird to find yourself in a position where just at the back end of last season, he was maybe one of the kind of the centerpieces, and now he's not.
He's got a bobblehead.
Yeah, he's on the promotional giveaways. And oddly enough, it's for a defensive play, which is hilarious. But I don't know.
Yeah, Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of season that shake out again, and maybe it was just a situation where it was right, left, and that kind of makes it skewed a little bit. Where now that the Reds are going to face a whole bunch of righties in a row, maybe we'll see him, and maybe tonight was just just a coincidence that it was 2 out of 4 that he sat, and maybe it will be a lot more. But it was just like, hey, we really like the Benson matchup today. We like Steer in there. We like both of them. I don't know. We'll see. But it does feel weird. You can't just gloss over it, that it feels weird right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't help him that he has reverse splits either, because it would be much, much, much more beneficial to him and and the team in general if he could hit left-handed pitching, because it would make it significantly easier to make the case for him to be able to be a platoon guy with a guy like Benson. But now you find yourself in a spot where you could say, well, I think Will Benson and Rhys Hines is a better tandem and duo than, whatever mixture you want to put with Marte. So we'll find out. We'll see. I don't think it's overly crazy no matter what the Reds decide to do, but ultimately, like you said, I think it's a short leash, though. I really do. And I think it should be that way. I think that guys being given ample amount of opportunities to try to hit their stride. Not this year. Not right now. Not when we have as many guys at AAA that I think, if they're performing well, let's just, like we said before, there's options. Let's play, hot potato if we want. Send them back down. Let's let the tracks of 75 get hot from the buses going back and forth for all I care, Nick.
71.
75, 71. It does go to 71. You're right. Yes. 75 goes to Lexington.
Yeah.
Yes. So good call by you, by the way. Shout out to you.
Big map guy. Used to
yeah. You sit up and study.
When I was a kid, I had like a map obsession until I was about 10, and
Then you switched the trains.
Switched to baseball.
Okay, fair. All right. I took a shot in the dark. Yeah. All right, we have some super chats. Let's get to those. To round it out, I got to find out where we had stopped. All right, Rolf back again with another super, says, thoughts on your favorite stat of the night. My opinion, which means nothing, is Graham Ashcraft, 0 walks. It's a miracle. Graham Ashcraft is, like I said before, a guy that I believe in wholeheartedly, but then there are times where he goes off the deep end, and I'm like, okay, now I see why everybody doesn't really believe in this guy. But I'm telling you, he's got the goods, man. I mean, he's got the goods to get it done. And I'm not much of a stat guy, but I'll tell you this. The fact of the matter is that guy inherits runners and he gets them out. He doesn't allow them to score. And that is a huge, huge asset to this bullpen. I don't know if you remember, we had a guy named Rogers, and he was horrible at that. So it's nice. He was so bad. And I'm not talking about the Rogers that threw in the World Baseball Classic, although he might be cooked too. Perhaps that's the problem with the Rogers household. Who knows? But anyways, stat of the night. Nick, you got a stat of the night?
I would say Graham Ashcraft's stat line is the stat of the night. He was the next topic on the rundown, but
yeah, we'll talk about him in a second.
Retired all 4 batters.
You got Franco on there?
I got Franco on the back half. Yeah.
All right, of course you do, because you're a big leaguer. Terry Miller, thank you. Welcome to Nutcutter Nation. Appreciate you supporting the channel. That means a lot to us. And thank you to everybody that's watching right now for the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands. Hit the like button if you haven't already. That would be a huge, 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 huge help to us. And also leave a review on the podcast if you haven't already as well. That would be a very, very, very nice thing as well. So, Nick, I'll let you get us kind of going here on the back half of the rundown.
Yeah, as always, we want to remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. It's a 100% secure and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit Man Therapy to get help. It's okay not to be okay.
Nick, did they really give him a triple?
That's what it says. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. But that's fine. Whatever. Hey, I'm happy for him. I'm not taking it away. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know where the positioning was. Maybe maybe they felt he was going to get third no matter what.
Well, that's what they had to have thought.
Even if they would have got him out at the plate, I still think he would get a triple. Benson hustles. He hustles.
Love it.
Except for that one time against the Rockies that he saved the season.
Well, that's why he hustles now. That's why he hustles. He learned his lesson that if you don't hustle in this culture, you sit down. I'm all about that. I like that. Graham Ashcraft. Let's talk about him. He's on the back half of the rundown. I just had mentioned there right before we went into the back half that I believe in this guy. I do love him. I tell you, I know that I go all the way back to when you asked me of the three guys, who's your favorite out of Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, and Graham Ashcraft. And I said Graham Ashcraft. And you laugh. But I want to say that if my man can just stay healthy, keep throwing strikes. I know I have a lot of disclaimers in here. I'm like those pharmaceutical ads on the TV right now, when they go through like a minute and a half list of how you might die if you take this drug, but you'll be fine. Anyways, if he can do those things, I really do think that he's a huge asset. I can't sit here and say he's just as big as asset as Hunter Green, but if Hunter Green can't stay healthy, I don't know. We'll see.
I think 5 starts out of Hunter Green over Graham Ashcraft. With all
no. Let's not be too disrespectful. You need to keep. Will you stay in line?
Graham Ashcraft gave the Reds a fantastic performance tonight. It was a much-needed performance. Bullpen was not in a good spot. I think Pagan and Santillan back-to-back days unavailable. Johnson had pitched in 3 straight games. Brock Burke threw, 28 pitches yesterday. So the bullpen was in a bad spot, and Graham Ashcraft delivered. I thought that was one of the best performances we've seen from him in a long time. And just good when he doesn't walk guys. That's the big deal. So
that's a big if.
Yeah, but you just see as many options in this bullpen, and Ashcraft's kind of been teetering, but today was a very, very good performance from him.
It was, and it was all set up by Franco. Franco comes in. I personally had never seen him before. I'm sure that you have, because you've probably been watching him since he was in the Dominican League, if I had to guess. But the point is that it was nice to see him settle in, be comfortable, throw strikes, get outs, and dodged a bullet or two. But at the end of it, kept scoreless frames. And I don't want to go too over the rails and say that this bullpen has got it all figured out and there's no problems. But so far, they have done just enough to make sure that they haven't ruined what the starters have provided them. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, really nice job from Franco today. I think he a little fortunate. I think he gave up a couple really hard hit balls, but was able to get some outs out of them. Worked around 3 hits, but yeah, for his big league debut, it's a pretty tough spot as a the long man mop up guy, which I guess was his designated role. It's a pretty tough spot. 2-0 ball game. Yeah, you kind of really felt good about where you were at in this game, and it could have unraveled very quickly if he wasn't able to come through and most importantly through strikes in his big leagues debut. Because we've seen a lot of guys that don't throw strikes in the big league debut. That to me is the biggest thing and by far I think the biggest positive from him. But yeah, he's a talented pitcher. I don't know where, I know he only throws 3 pitches with a lot of regularity, so he might end up being destined to be a reliever. But he definitely has the stuff to be a reliever. It's really just a question of is he able to kind of to harness enough to become a starter or not? But I think he definitely has the stuff to be a big league reliever.
I mean, it all comes down to whether these guys are capable of staying consistent and being competitive in the zone. And nobody has really. Obviously, I don't want to say everyone hasn't. Unless you're a sicko and you're watching, an insane amount of minor league baseball, it's kind of hard to know what these guys are coming up, what you're probably going to get out of them. And even if you did watch minor league baseball, like what you just mentioned, the pressure in the big leagues is different. I mean, it just is. And it was nice to see him being able to at least settle the nerves enough to get outs, because if he wasn't capable of even, what I would say, getting some outs at the very beginning, it was going to be a really, really tough ask for the Reds not only today, but I even think moving forward in regards to what the bullpen ultimately would look like. So we talked about it before, but it's worth mentioning again that we kind of forget about what the performances like Franco today mean tomorrow. Just because of there's domino effects at the beginning of these series, whether or not you have to burn one extra reliever. Well, that one extra reliever then the following day turns into a whole nother extra reliever, and then by the getaway day game, you're in a tough spot. So it's just nice to see. And then Phillips coming in for what I would consider not the easiest save situation. Yes, he had a 2-run lead, but for some reason, Nick, I don't know why I feel this way, but when you come into a shutout game, I feel like it adds just a little bit more added pressure to it. Doesn't mean that I think that they, get prizes in the clubhouse because they had a shutout or anything like that. But I definitely think that there's some pride involved for the staff to get shutouts. And I also think that you don't want to be the only guy that came out of that gate and out of the 8 innings, you come in the 9th and you're the only guy that gives up a run. That can become a little disheartening. And you give up back-to-back walks, things could have unraveled, but maybe the most impressive thing was he kind of was able to right the ship and get some big outs.
Yeah, and things unraveling was why it took Connor Phillips so long to get to the big leagues. It's when he walked the first 2 batters in the minor leagues, it was over. Like, that was it. There was no coming back from it. But he certainly has kind of gotten over that mental hurdle or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, really just throwing strikes is legitimately the only thing that will hold Connor Phillips back. If he throws strikes, he's I think he could be one of the best relievers in the sport. I don't think that's going too far overboard. I think he has that dominant of stuff and that sweeper that he's just gotten to another level is unbelievable. So yeah, if he can throw strikes, he's the Reds' best reliever, and I don't even think it's even remotely close.
No, I don't think it is either. But there's these big ifs, and I think Pagan of all the assets or the maybe the better of the qualities that he has is the one thing that maybe none of the guys that we're talking about that have huge upside do have, which is some longevity to this, some trustworthiness to it, maybe a little bit of a bigger belief factor that the moment's not going to get too big for him. Although he's had his moments where he struggled too, but ultimately, if you tell me you have to pick one or the other, Santillan and Pagan or Ashcraft and Phillips, I think I would take Ashcraft and Phillips. I really would, and I know that goes against maybe most people's thinking, perhaps because of just the trustworthiness and the longevity that you got to see last year of that. But just the way, and maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. But just what I see with my eyes, I think I would live and die with Ashcraft and Phillips.
Yeah, it's tough. It's just I think Tony not looking right makes that so hard. I think if you had Tony Santillan last year, I think I would take Pagan.
Yeah, I think Pagan is also hittable though, right? Like the biggest question mark in my opinion when it comes to Phillips and Ashcraft are whether they're capable of just doing what they're able to do. I think Pagan can go out there, and I don't mean to be, this isn't disrespectful, hopefully, but I think he could go out there and throw good pitches in what you would consider him to be throwing good pitches and still get hit. I do. Yeah. I don't think you can say that.
I agree.
I don't think you can say with that Ashcraft. Like if Ashcraft and Phillips are throwing their pitches, good night. Forget about it. I don't think that's the case for the other.
I'm not as sure about Ashcraft because I've seen him throw some really hard pitches that have gotten absolutely tattooed. But I agree with Phillips. But one thing I will say is I think the big thing is going to become if Phillips is able to assert some level of dominance and able to show some consistency. It's going to be like Phillips has to be the closer. Pagan moved out. I'm not going to be on board with that unless Pagan just completely falls apart. Yeah. And what I would point to is Terry Francona in 2016. Does anyone remember who his closer was? It wasn't the guy everyone thinks about. Andrew Miller was his dominant reliever, but Cody Allen was his closer, and it worked great. He was able to use Andrew Miller in any spot, and I think that pitcher is more valuable than your closer. So I think you don't need to mess with it. Just keep letting Phillips get big outs and big spots, and maybe eventually he morphs into a closer. But for right now, it's not going to be a big deal.
I was just going to suggest I think it'd be smart to just do closer by committee for the meantime. And I know you used to subscribe to this thought significantly because you felt like the ninth inning was the same as the seventh, and over the years you've kind of changed on that or softened your stance. I definitely
just no one does it anymore. Like,
right.
It's just
I just think though that there's got to be at some point in games situationally where you think to yourself, all right, I need a swing and miss guy, or I need somebody to come in here that's we're gonna either live and die by the situation that is Connor Phillips, and that's when you put him in there. And that might be the seventh inning, that might be the eighth inning, that could be the 10th and the 11th inning. I don't know. That's obviously Tito's decision to make. So
my theory on that is I think a lot of front offices fully believe, like I do, like the whole closer thing is just is like not the most valuable way to use a reliever, but they've just conceded that it's not worth the fighting over it and putting people out of roles. But there is definitely something big about putting guys in roles and making them comfortable. There's definitely, I fully understand and believe that there's a comfortability factor, but it's almost like a guy like Phillips, you want to hold off as long as you can on making him the closer, because once the toothpaste gets out of the tube, it's not coming back. So you kind of leave him in this role where he's the most valuable until you like, well, okay, yeah, we have to make him the closer. It's so obvious. And I think that's kind of a lot of situations that happen across baseball.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Moving on to another guy that has been previously mentioned on the program, Nick Lodolo. We obviously seen pictures and videos of him long tossing just yesterday. Obviously, there was made mention on the broadcast of the plan moving forward. Oddly enough, of all things, this shows you how damaged my brain is with Nick Lodolo. They had mentioned that he obviously was maybe going to throw in Louisville, but the weather was going to possibly make him change. I got to tell you, Nick, when I heard that, my immediately thought was, is it like a heat wave? Is there a heat wave coming? And is Louisville going to be like 95 degrees in a couple days? And that's why they're there? No, it's probably just because it might rain. I was like, that's where my brain's at. Like, oh no, the blister. Is it too hot for him to throw or not? Updates on Nick Lodolo.
Yeah, he apparently is likely going to pitch on Thursday for the Daytona Tortugas in their season opener. So what a way to start the year. We heard maybe a source indicate that Sheng-Yin Lin was going to be the opening day starter for the Daytona Tortugas. So it's possible, folks. You could see a Lodolo Sheng-Yin Lin piggyback on the Daytona Tortugas season debut. I don't know if they're at Jackie Robinson Ballpark or not, but I mean, that is electric, Trace.
Yes, and I even seen the other day, Nick, and I shed a tear for you. Sheng-Yin Lin has decided he is going to focus on pitching.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I didn't want to bust the bubble. And listen, hey, maybe he'll end up being an unbelievable pitcher, and that'll be fine. But I guess the Shohei Ohtani, 2.0 took a little bit of a hit.
It did. But hey, thankfully he's a really good pitcher. And I think that he's developed a lot faster as a pitcher than I think they thought. I mean, he had some dominant outings last year with Daytona. So hopefully he'll be at Dayton soon. Hopefully he'll definitely be at Dayton by the middle of the summer when Dayton makes their pilgrimage up north. And who even knows? I mean, I am Big J credentialed for the Lake County captain. So maybe we'll get a photo. Maybe not even a back camera angle.
Nobody has there's like 3 people in the chat right now out of all 700 that are thinking to themselves right now, they know what you're talking about. And you know what? For those 3 people that know what you're talking about, I'm actually going to let them live in. I'm not even going to explain to the rest of the folks what the hell you're talking about. I'm going to let them live in the fact that they were here at the very, very beginning of this whole thing. But yeah, shout out to Sheng-Yin Lin. Shout out to Nick. I hope you guys can reunite in Lake County at some point. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe you guys can go grab a bite to eat too. I don't know if that'll be a Big J thing. Maybe you're not allowed doing that. It's one of the unwritten rules, I'm sure. But anyway. All right.
We'll break them for Mr. Lin.
Yeah. Rip those unwritten rules part, I guess. All right. We do have some who, what, when, where, and why to get to. Right before we get to that, though, let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats before we head on our way out. I have none to get to. So, more baseball on the way, Nick, and another opportunity for another guy that, quite frankly, hasn't thrown the ball in a long, long time in a meaningful situation, and that's gone okay for the Reds, it seems.
Yeah, no Reds MILB on Monday, so tomorrow's starting pictures is presented by 78 Cigars. Cincinnati legend Anthony Munoz has a new venture, and we are fired up to partner with it here on Chatterbox Reds. Introducing 78 Cigars, a premium cigar line from the Hall of Famer himself. If you love great cigars in Cincinnati football history, this is the perfect combination. You can grab 78 Cigars right now at both Montgomery and locations, or over at Creekside Cigar Company. You can also check them out online. Just head to anthonymunoz.com, click on the 78 Cigars page, and learn more or place your order today. That's 78 Cigars from the greatest offensive lineman to ever do it, Anthony Munoz. All right, Reds and Pirates back at it, 6:40 on Tuesday. Brandon Williamson going to pitch for the first time since 2024. Only made a handful of starts in 2024. And going up against Bubba Chandler, the number 9 ranked prospect in all of baseball. He throws incredibly hard. Fastball averages 98.9 miles per hour. He got his cup of coffee in the big leagues last season. Ended up with a 4.02 ERA. But Trace, I think his numbers are very Chase Burns numbers last year, where they're incredibly deceiving. He had one start where he gave up 9 earned runs out of like 8, and he still had an ERA of 4, if that tells you anything. So the Reds will have the work cut out for them tomorrow for sure. And Paul Skeens on Wednesday. But I'm excited about Brandon Williamson. I mean, what an awesome story. The fact that he went to camp and he was like, screw you. Like we made fun of the fifth rotation spot. Yeah, sure, you're gonna get a spot in the rotation. And this dude took it to heart. I really loved watching him, like when he came up. This guy was a guy that got completely cast aside in the minor leagues. This guy's a prospect bust, worst trade ever. Now he's teammates with Eugenio Suarez. This really has come full circle. But he was so fun to watch in 2023 and into 2024. I'm excited to see him take the ball on a Tuesday night.
And he's already had some great moments starting for the Reds. I would hearken people to go back and, not that you're going to go in the archives and maybe watch the full games or anything like that, but he really did have some starts where you felt like we might be onto something here. Like, this guy's stuff looks good, and he's making guys look kind of like he's not just having fortunate ground balls that are hit relatively hard right at guys, or a line drive here, or pitching around 6 hits in 5 innings or something like that. Like, he had some really high quality starts, and then obviously he gets hurt. He's gone for a while. People forget about him. He has a setback. You think he's coming back. He has a setback. So then you kind of cast him aside yet again. And now, like you said, the thing that I maybe like the most about Brandon Williamson is the intangible. That is, he has the same semblance of a mentality as a Sal Stewart. I really do think that. Like, this guy, he'd be happy to throw both birds up on the way out of a baseball game if he wanted to, that's not a slight on him. Like, I like that. And I think, as I said before, all great athletes in some semblance of a way have to be naive, or have to believe in themselves that they're better than maybe what they really even are. And I think that Williamson does do that. And I think, to your point, in spring training, he said, I don't care what the hell I got to do, but I know one thing. I'm getting on that plane and I'm going back to Cincinnati. And he's here. And I'm with you. I'm looking forward to it. He's got a tall task, because I know this: the starters before him have they've set the bar pretty damn high. So we'll see if he's capable of continuing down the path of giving us an excellent start. But I like Brandon Williamson. I really do. I don't know what it is about him, but I like him. Kind of just his mannerisms and the way he goes about his business. I'm rooting for him, and I am looking forward to tomorrow. So, if you haven't already, go ahead.
Sorry, he was awesome in spring training. He had a 1.65 ERA, 16 and a third innings. He only walked 3 batters and struck out 15. So he's coming in with a lot of confidence.
Love it. Some folks in there want me to talk about the City Connect uniforms. I will tell you, I'm not going to believe. I am until I see like the official account say that those are them, and maybe they already have. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm just hopeful that that isn't it. And if that is it, we're batting 500. You know, I guess that's where I'd say. So I see your reaction.
Yeah, I'm not completely buying that either. That feels like something could be very easy for someone to
manipulate.
Yeah.
We'll see. It could be official too. And if it is, we'll talk about it later. Rolf, on the way out the door, the super chat. Sheng In Lin, forever an all-star hitter in my heart. Shout out to you, Rolf. Shout out to everybody that has joined the stream. And shout out, hopefully, to this PC as well for giving us a good run in the sun. And we'll see, hopefully, if we can't figure out this whole thing tomorrow. Until then, everybody enjoy the rest of their night. We'll be back here better than ever tomorrow live in the 9th inning for hopefully what is yet another opportunity for a Red save and win. Until then, we'll see you. Like the stream. Go leave a review on the podcast. And as always, go Reds.